Hey everybody, how's it going? Today we're going to be going over the Kuat NV 2.0 bike rack here on our 2021 Tesla Model Y. So we actually have a few different options here for the NV 2.0. For starters, we have both 2 and 4 bike configurations. We also have 2 different color options for each of those configurations. We have the gunmetal gray, which is what we have here, and there's also a version for metallic black. So no matter your color or bike preferences, there's going to be an option for you. So there's 2 main types of bike racks. We have the platform style, which is what we have here, and we have the hanging style. Now they're both going to work great for you. Some of them are a little bit better for things than others. The hanging style, for example, they're going to be better for your light road bikes, something that we could easily just pick up, set on the arm, secure it, and then head off down the road. Now one of the main benefits of a hanging style bike rack is that they're going to be very easy to put on because they don't weigh much at all. However, the real downside to hanging style bike racks is they're not really accommodating to different types of bike frames. If we have any heavy bikes or if we have the carbon fiber frame bikes, the hanging style really isn't the best option because number 1, we could risk damaging the carbon fiber frame, and number 2, they have a limited weight capacity. Now the platform style, on the other hand, this is going to be a great option for both of those types. Because number 1, the platform bike racks have a very high weight capacity. And number 2, we're going to be able to carry bikes with a carbon fiber frame because as you can see here, there's actually no contact with the frame whatsoever because this is the wheel mount style. If we have any alternative frame bikes, those are obviously not going to be good for the hanging style either because we need that horizontal cross tube. Therefore, we're going to be able to use this bikes with this rack as well. So another major benefit a platform style bike rack has over a hanging style bike rack is that we can actually tilt it away from the vehicle with our bike still attached. Now we compare that to a hanging style rack. A lot of these do have a tilt away feature, but you have to remove the bikes, which is one extra step. For this platform rack here, we're simply going to pull this little lever over here on this side, and then the rack with our bike is going to tilt back away from the vehicle. That way we can open up the hatch. And as you can see here, there's plenty of room with the hatch in our bike. We don't have any issue with interference. And now we can get items in and out as we need, and then close it back up and head off down the road. That simple. So another great major benefit of a platform style rack when we compare it to a hanging style is that it's much easier to get your bikes off of because we don't have to be lifting them as high. Now granted, some of our lighter bikes really aren't going to be too much of an issue getting on that hanging style rack, but if you have a heavier one or even just a normal bike like this, it's much easier to get them on and off the platform style racks because we don't have to lift as much. But in order to remove your bike from this rack here, it's very simple. First thing we're going to do is we're going to come back to the rear wheel here. We're going to press that gray button and then pull our strap out just like so. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come up top here. This is an important step. We want to make sure that we grab firmly on the top tube of our bike, and then we'll come over here to our wheel hook. We'll release that, press the button, extend it out, fold it down, and now we're ready to remove our bike. Now the reason that we want to make sure that we have a strong hold on that is because once we release the wheel hook, our bike could fall and hit the vehicle. We don't want that to happen, which is a good thing that we have a nice strong hold on it. So now we're ready to just lift it up and off, just like so, very easy. So if you guys have any tight parking spaces here, you're certainly going to appreciate these next few measurements. We're going to give you the total overall length we add to the vehicle with the bike rack. We measure from the back hatch to the outwardmost point. We're looking at right about 30 inches. But if we have a really tight parking space, such as a garage, we can actually collapse this down into a stowed position, which is how we're going to have the bike rack when we're just driving around town. We don't have our bikes attached. Now in order to do that, it's the same thing as tilting. We'll just pull that lever, fold it up against the vehicle. You can see here we have plenty of clearance. Now we'll take that same measurement again, and this time to the furthest point out here at the bottom of the shank, we're looking at right around a foot or so. So you can definitely get a much smaller footprint there with it folded up against the vehicle. So if you guys have any really tight parking spots, let's say you have a garage you park in at home, chances are you can't park in there with this folded down, but by tilting it up towards the vehicle, you guys should have room. But you can always measure to be sure using those dimensions we just gave you. So the NV 2.0 is a very nice bike rack, and chances are people who are looking at this are going to have some nice bikes. Now, what do we know about nice things? That they cost a lot of money, and we certainly don't want someone coming and stealing those from us. Well, Kuat has thought of that here because we have built-in locks that lock both the rack to the vehicle and our bikes to the rack. Now, if we look at the end of our trays here, you're going to see these cable locks. We're going to wrap these around our bike, and then they're going to store back in here. You just wrap it around like so, close it there. So pretty simple, easy design there. And again, that's going to lock our bikes to the rack. And then we also have a lock core that's on the end of the hitch pin that secures our rack to the vehicle. And both of those locks are going to use the same key, so you don't have to worry about keeping multiple sets of keys with you. So in regards to weight capacity, we mentioned earlier that the platform style bike racks are better for those heavier bikes because they have a higher weight capacity. So for the 2-bike model, it's going to be 60 pounds per bike, so quite high, even for some of those electric bikes, should be no problem. But if we have 4 bikes on the 4-bike rack version, our weight capacity per bike is going to be 40 pounds. So if we take a look at the top of the rack while it's in the stowed position, you're going to notice this feature here. And what this is actually designed for is, it's designed to be a bike repair stand. So any of you road bikers or your mountain bikers that have frequent breakdowns, you'll know there's not really a great place to work on those. We end up leaning up against the side of the wall or just trying to do the repairs on the ground. That's certainly not ideal. With this bike stand here, it makes things very easy. We can swing the arm over, extend it up to the desired height, lock it in place, and then we just loosen this, drop our bike tube in there, push it down nice and tight, and then lock it into place. And now we have a nice stable platform to make the needed repairs so we can get back out on the trails. In regards to securing the rack to the vehicle, this is very easy. It is going to utilize a standard smooth hitch pin that you might be familiar with from any of your other racks or really any other hitch mounted accessory. We just have a hitch pin we need to insert into the shank once we line it up with the hitch pin hole in the receiver tube. That part's pretty straightforward. But in regards to securing it further, we have an anti-rattle mechanism here. So what this does is, this is pretty much going to draw the receiver up against the hitch pin and pin it into the receiver tube. Therefore, it's going to be nice and sturdy. We don't have to worry about carrying any sockets with us to tighten anything down. Everything is going to be integrated into the rack. We already have it tightened up all the way, and you can see how well this thing works. If we just go ahead and shake this rack here, the shank part that is, you'll be able to see there's no movement inside the receiver tube. We're actually shaking the vehicle. So this thing is very secure. It's definitely not going to be bouncing around. It's going to keep your bikes nice, safe, and secure as well. So in summary, the NV 2.0 is a really nice bike rack for you and the family. And if you guys ask me, it's one of the best options on the market. I mean, this thing just looks incredible on the back of the vehicle. Everything has a nice powder coated finish. We have some anodized pieces of metal here. It really doesn't take away from the look of your vehicle at all, and it has some excellent features you guys are going to love. And that's going to do it today for our look at the Kuat NV 2.0 bike rack here on our 2021 Tesla Model Y.